This is Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey, brought to you by Everything Cowboy.
It's kind of a big deal, episode 20, isn't it?
Huge deal. 20 episodes.
I don't know if it's like a huge deal.
I would say it's a huge deal, though.
We're thankful.
Started from the bottom, now we're at 20.
Now we're at episode 20.
It's not so bad.
This is one of the first of our morning episodes as
It's
well.
a morning epi.
As you can tell
It's
by
a
our
battle.
voice, we didn't even stay up last night. It was Monday.
We're just getting old, man.
I don't know about the old thing, but the morning thing, it's different.
Mornings suck.
Well, they're good though.
They're good, but they still suck.
I don't know. I'm mostly an evening person.
I was having a good sleep.
You were?
Yeah, I was having a really good sleep. Then my alarm went off, and I was like,
I don't want
to get up.
I don't know what to tell you about that.
Here we are.
But here we are, episode 20, the morning edition.
The morning edition, the morning line.
The morning line with Ted and Wacey, created by Slade Long.
So what's up this morning, Teddy?
This morning,
What's happening?
I guess today's like August 28th already.
Damn near in September.
It's winter. Winter has arrived in Canada, for anyone that doesn't know.
It snowed.
I'm going to probably be wearing my long johns this weekend.
It literally snowed in Canmore.
And that's only like an hour from us.
Yeah, at most.
It is a little mountainous there, but still.
They're going to be hitting the slopes here probably in like
I read something.
a month.
They open at like the start of November 7th.
That's insane.
So that's for literally, what is that? 2 months
2 months away, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But last couple of weeks been pretty good, eh? Like,
Hot couple weeks.
yeah, where have you been? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Went to Country Thunder.
Yeah.
Went to church on Sunday. That was nice.
Oh, yeah. That's
That's
hipsterish.
Country Thunder?
No, I went to church on Sunday. No, you went
That's
to
not
Eric's
hipster.
church.
That's
on
not
a
hipster.
Sunday.
It's been like a thing since like he's been
That's pretty-
started touring, man.
That's pretty hip.
No, it's pretty mainstream.
That's pretty,
You're just
congrats.
jealous you weren't there. It's fucking awesome.
And
And
I had a
then-
pretty good time.
And then
Whatever else
what else
did-
did I do? Last
Then-
weekend didn't do much. I worked at the Okotoks Rodeo with my day job.
How was that? Let's talk about that.
What I did? Like what we did?
At Okotoks.
So what we do, because we have a bunch of new products out for the summer.
Oh, yeah. How was
So-
the rodeo, though?
Didn't watch any of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you hear any of it?
No.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I literally like was there and then I think I left when the saddle bronc riding started. I didn't want to stay and watch. So
Really?
Yeah.
That's how sick a rodeo Wacey is by this time of year.
yeah, I just didn't. Yeah, I didn't
Doesn't
feel like
wanna
to hang
stay.
out at the Okotoks Rodeo. I was there from like 3:00 till 7:38. So I just didn't.
That's
wanna-
long enough.
Didn't want to be there anymore.
It's different when it becomes work a little bit, hey?
Yeah, we poured a lot of Palm Bay.
So you were bartending?
Yeah, it's just like giving out samples of like our new products and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
that they were available. So that's like the best way to get people to try your new things is like
Yeah.
give out the samples and then they're more likely to buy it. Liquid Tips. That's the way to do it.
Marketing by Bud Wright
Marketing 101.
from Labatt's. Is that in the Labatt's handbook? Do you get like a
Oh no, it's just
book?
something I've learned while being out. The best way to get someone to try something new is to make them try it.
Give it to him
Give
for
them
free.
for free. Give them to free. Exactly. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, that's neat.
It was pretty cool. It was fun. We actually had a lot of traffic, which was nice.
Okay. So it was a good crowd there then.
Yeah, I think so. Compared to Friday because I guess it rained a bunch down there. It rained and it was cold on Friday. It was like 20 some degrees. So there was a lot of people actually on Saturday. So
Oh, okay,
it was
cool.
a pretty good day down there.
Well, neato.
Fun times. What about you, Teddy? Where you been? You've been all over the world.
Oh, not really.
You've been Manitoba.
Since the last episode, I guess when it came out, we were in Coronation. And then the next morning, I flew to Verdun, did the Verdun rodeo.
Manitoba.
Great rodeo out that way, by
Best
the way.
amateur rodeo, I think. One of the best going.
Well done.
It's a great
Really
rodeo.
well done. They had quick perfs. Every night got faster and working on some of that.
Sweet
with
prizes
those
they give
guys.
every year, too.
Yeah, they had I think they won. Well, I think you win a buckle to win the first round,
Yeah.
and then you get a jacket to win the short round kind of thing.
Yeah,
like the
because
finals.
I think that technically the short round is just like bonus, doesn't count towards any
okay.
standings or anything.
Okay, yeah. It
Yeah.
was cool though. I was they did a good job. The last perf was like just over 2 hours long, which
Nice.
is quite impressive for a semi-professional rodeo.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I thought so.
Love that one. Love it.
Yeah, well done in Verdun, and then got to hang out with Scott Byrne and the family out there, Reagan and Braden and Dylan. That was good times, and Lonnie Brown and Thomas Hagen, all that crew.
Mhm.
We're gonna get them on the podcast sometime.
The Verdun
That's,
crew.
The Verdun crew. Jesse Lawrence, who showed me some of his nitro coffee.
How good is that? I've been like really wanting to try that. He had
Yeah.
some at the ball tournament in Kipling, and it was really good.
He said we should start a business in Calgary, hawking it
The
out
Calgary
here.
firm.
We could be the Calgary part of Nitro Coffee.
We'll see.
So after that, then the week
You're gonna
after,
have to pitch us like Dragon's Den.
Yeah, we might have to do this. You, me, and Preston.
Yeah, it
He's
does.
gonna have to
And for that
sell it
reason,
to us.
I'm out.
Yeah, and then last week was the Curtis Glencross charity Roughstock event in Red Deer.
Nice. That's a sweet
Western
event,
Park.
man.
Oh, it's really cool.
It's
And
about trucks.
oh yeah, this year Cole Goodon won the bareback riding. He was 88 points 2 times. Like
Wow.
yeah, he won both rounds. He rode really well. And the bronc riding was Leighton Green.
Nice.
And bull riding Scott Schiffner. I think he said he's won it 5 of the 7 times.
He's won
they've had
5
it.
trucks.
Well, they've only had the trucks, or they've had the trucks the last 3 or 4 years, but he's won it like either 4 or 5 times out of 7.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's a hot shot there.
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's the Glencross Invitational guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. So, yeah, Scott won that. And then Saturday we had the Future Stars, Rising Stars Rodeo at the Western Park there.
How was that?
It was well done too, actually. We had, I want to say there was about 120 entries or something during the day.
So what was that about, though? Like, I had no idea about it.
Qualification to the CFR Junior Rodeo in the afternoon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and I don't know a ton of all the details yet
Yeah.
either. I think part of it's still, they're working
the
on
works, yeah.
in the works on it. But yeah, I thought it went really well. And it went
You
really
went to
well.
the Core Blend concert.
Oh, yeah, I went over there too. And then they had a press conference, though, for the CFR in Red Deer that same day. So we worked that a bit too. And then there was a perf that night that was Roughstock. There was like 13 kids. And I got to say, actually, too, that I was very impressed with the stock they brought for the kids to get on.
That's cool.
Yeah, they had like 8 bull riders, and I think 5 of them stayed on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I just want to send a note out to the crew that brought the bulls. They were, I believe Messens had the contract with Pengelly's, and it was fabulous for those kids to be able to stay on. I talked to Donnie Johansson about it right after.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a 40-minute perf. Like, it was a quick deal. You know, and the Yules had a trick riding event, like a act there too. There's a Bensmiller kids in it too. It was well done. But I was talking to Don Johansson about it after, and he said that's what you need for those kids. You need to be able to stay on, because if they ride for 5 or 6 seconds, they kind of get the feel for it a little bit.
Oh, for sure, man.
And get going a little ways, and then they know what it's going to be like, right? Where if you just buck them off in a few seconds, then what do you learn? If you
you're
get
going to
to
build a
go
lot
ways.
more cowboys that way, like having them stay on, guys that are want to keep going rather than being so disheartened that they can't stay on nothing.
Yeah. So I was super impressed with that. Hats off to that crew.
That's awesome. Good news.
Then went down to Corb's show on Saturday night in Drumheller at the Badlands Amphitheater. It was
how's that venue?
It was really cool. I thought it could work for bull riding, but it'd be a little tight. Logistically, might be a little tricky.
It'd be pretty cool though.
But it would be neat. So just if they're listening,
Drumheller, get at us.
we could do that. But that'll wrap up our first segment here this morning. We'll be back with a special guest after this.
You're listening to Cowboy Shit, brought to you by Everything Cowboy.
Guest this week is from the Glencross charity Roughstock event, and it is Curtis Glencross. Curtis, you're at your office there this morning, but how would it go on the weekend?
You know what? It was awesome. I think everyone that came and took in the performance, and I think a lot of the contestants were pretty happy with how it all fell out. And at the end of the day, it's I think we're going to be over the 200,000 K mark again this year for the 7th year. So it was definitely a success.
And that'll bring you to like $1.5 million raised since you started the event 7 years ago.
Yeah, that'll put us just over 1.6 million. If that's the case, we're at 1.4 in 6 years now. So yeah, it's definitely keeps on growing and growing as things go on. So as long as we can keep making money and supporting the great charities that we do support, we'll have to keep doing it, I guess.
How did you guys ever come up with the idea to do it in the first place, and what got it going?
You know, it was a conversation between actually Jim Barry, myself, and Kyle Danes way back at when I was doing a golf tournament in Calgary, and it just wasn't hitting home for me, and so I wanted to try something new. And my wife and I had always volunteered and been a part of the Ronald McDonald house here in Calgary, so we wanted to, we seen what that house does for so many different people, and how it's such a special place that it is, and we wanted to. Red Deer was obviously just had a new one and was in the process of, they were building it, and then obviously the expenses to keep a place like that going is over $1.2 million a year just running costs. So that was something where we wanted to see what we could do to help out with that, and it's just turned into, the golf tournament wasn't there, like I said, and we started talking about, what do we do at Roughstock event? And I've seen how the Calgary Flames poker tournament goes, and how successful it was, and so I just wanted to kind of swing something with that. So we brainstormed it for another year, and then we said, let's try it. So first year we didn't really know what to expect, and we're fortunate enough that we raised, I think, $196,000 the first year we did it. So it's been going ever since.
That's impressive. That's you're averaging over $200,000 a year, and that goes to not only the Ronald McDonald House, but also the Hockey Alberta Foundation. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the Hockey Alberta Every Kids Every Community program. So it's a it's tied in with the Glencross Legacy Fund, and it's a grant application across Alberta for some families that may need some assistance during the year for minor hockey dues, or if it's for equipment, or if it's for the pond hockey programs, or it's just we want the opportunity that every kid that wants to play hockey should have the opportunity to play hockey, and that was our goal at the end of the day, to partner up with Hockey Alberta and have them 2 charities that we distribute our proceeds to.
And what have the results been like in the first 7 years? Like the money you guys are raising is life changing for a lot of these families.
It is. It's when you listen to the sponsor families we do have come to our event, and you hear their stories and how thankful they are for having a place like the Ronald McDonald House, that they can have their family right next door to the hospital while they are in the hospital. And that's a huge part of a family getting through some tough times, is having being close and being together as a family. And I couldn't imagine if one of my kids was sick and you couldn't be with them all the time, and you had to be split up, and one parent at home with kids and one parent in a hotel or whatever. And it's just, that drains on a family. At the end of the day, it's having a house like this helps bring a family together, because there's families in there that are going through the same things you are. And, it's another person to talk to, and they have all the resources that you need there. And, obviously with Hockey Alberta, every kid's every community, it's them. There's a lot of kids that don't have them, for whatever reasons, don't have the means to get to a hockey rink, to skate on a rink, to get a pair of skates, to go out there. And the whole thing about team sport and, the Hockey Alberta is people skills. It's not about whether this kid's going to make it to the NHL or anything like that. It's about them friendships and connections and life skills that you do learn through hockey. So, that's our goal at the end of the day.
That's the essence of sport, really, in any capacity, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's, I always said that's one of the best things you can have in a hockey coach is having someone that's straight up front with you, honest, and teaches you life skills. And at the end of the day, it's not about always winning and always, I don't really know how to say it, but it's about just them individual life skills that you learn, being with people, then communication. And that's the most important value you can take out of any sport.
And how did you? I want to know kind of how you got involved on the Western sports side of things, with whether it be with Ray Crotto or Jim and Kyle. Like, how did you get to know those guys? Where did you meet them at the start?
So it's funny. My parents, I've always had a horse and rode. My parents used to rodeo back in the day, and then when I came around, they couldn't afford to rodeo and raise a family, so they had to. They always said they had to grow up and get to work a little bit. So they just couldn't chase their dream anymore and, their hobbies. So like I said, we always grew up. We've had animals and that kind of thing. And then it was actually one year at the Calgary Stampede. I met Ray Crotto. It would have been 15 years ago now, and at least 15 years ago. And I went there with one of his sponsors that I knew back in the day, and got introduced to Ray. And that was kind of when it all hit off with Ray. I went to the Stampede. He had a good show at the Stampede. I ended up staying a couple extra days and hanging out with him, helping him out a bit. And then the next weekend, they had their next show was in Drum the next weekend. And so he asked me if I'd come out to Drum and hang out and help him out. So we went out to Drum. He won the show. So he's like, well, we won the show. You got to come to the next show. So the next show would have been Strathmore. So then I went to tagged along to Strathmore with him the next week, and went back and trained for the week, and then went to Strathmore, and he won Strathmore show. And he kind of just said that I ended up starting to be his good luck charm a bit. So he's like, well, you got to come and hang out now on the weekends and that kind of thing. So it was a lot of years I went and helped them for spring training and all that kind of stuff. And they're, it's become one of my best friends, one of my real good friends. So that's kind of where that grew, and getting to know Jim. It's funny because when my dad's obviously in the cattle business, and back in the day, I knew Jim's dad. Jim's dad used to come to our house in Provost and come for supper once in a while when he came to town. And it's kind of amazing how years later that my dad knew Jim's dad pretty good. And now that, we didn't really meet each other too much. My dad had said I'd met Jim back in the day when I went out in the country with him and looking at cattle, but never really remembered, kind of thing. And then years later, now that we're real good friends now and have crossed paths and got reacquainted through Ray too, because, back then Jim was helping out Ray Crotto for a few years on the wagons too, when he was cruising around and rodeoing too. So that's how we met there.
I guess, did Jim do some outriding at one point? Is that right?
I don't know if Jim did any outriding or not. He was, he kind of was his wagon guy and went in the wagon with him and helped him out with, the day-to-day stuff kind of thing. I'm not 100% sure if he actually outrode or not.
I'll have to ask Jim. I'm not remembering that part right. I
Yeah.
thought I heard that one time. Maybe I'm not remembering right, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's a cool story, though, as far as Calgary goes, because you were playing for the Flames at the time that you would have been at the stadium.
I was actually signed in the minors. That was like one of my first few years.
Okay.
And I was playing with.
Was it Cincinnati or Portland?
I just signed with Anaheim that year, and I believe it was I was either in Cincy or Portland, like you said, when I did meet him, and then that's kind of where we hit it off. And I hadn't made it, to the NHL yet, just had signed my first deal, and was just kind of having fun, living the dream, thinking that I signed my first deal, and life was great. And then this is a whole nother aspect that I found, and I've been involved ever since, and it's been fun, and I've met a lot of great people because of the sport.
Well, let's go back to your hockey career that way. And I was reading a bit more about that earlier. It said you played midget C at one point in Provost, and then because you were it says you were less than 5 feet tall when you were 15, and then you grew a full foot and then ended up going to Brooks.
Yeah, so it's a funny story because I went and tried out for Pewee AA in Wainwright for 1 year and got cut. I went and tried out for Bantam AA. The next year in Wainwright, I got cut, and from then I just I was still small, but the 1 year I was we had a big pre-evaluation tournament kind of thing, and I was leading the whole tournament in points, and I still got cut, and I was kind of rattled but I was from out of town. I was 45 minutes out of Wainwright, obviously living in Provost at the time, or 40 miles, and so I was kind of screw it, and I'm gonna head home and play with all my buddies and have fun, and we go snowmobiling on the weekends and play hockey at night, and couldn't wait for the next kind of bush party to go to all the time, right? Like that's just small town C hockey, right? It ended up I just kind of stood out in the C hockey division, and we were in the league game. It was a league finals or a zone game in Coronation, Alberta, and a guy by the name of Barry Brigley was there, and Brooks had just started up and was going to be an expansion team the next year. And he came to me after a game there and asked if I'd be interested in trying out for this new junior A team in Brooks. So long story short, I ended up going to spring camp, and they pretty much told me that we want you to come back for the fall camp. And I don't even know I can't remember if they told me I was coming back next year at a spring camp, or if I was in main camp and they threw me in with a billet right away and said, you're not going anywhere. So, obviously it's 2 years in Brooks, and I had the opportunity to go to the CHL my second year at PA had called me at one time and asked if I was interested in going that route. And I was already talking to some schools, some Div 1 schools in the States, and I decided that I would stay in Brooks and finish out a couple of years there, and then do the school route, and ended up after 2 years in Brooks, 2 years going to school, and I had signed after my second season in Anchorage, Alaska with Anaheim.
Well, and I was looking at that, and you were in Anchorage for 2 years there. So school-wise, I guess, did you have to cut school short once you got the pro contract?
Yeah, when I signed my deal with Anaheim, I signed my deal, and the next day I was on a flight.
Oh wow!
And I went and played in playoffs that last year because they were just going into playoffs, or they had a couple regular season games left in their minor league team. So I went down to the minors and played with their team the rest of the playoffs, and then obviously the next year was the 04 lockout. So then I think I signed at the right time, back in the old CBA kind of thing with what you could get kind of as a new contract, and then. So I kind of lucked out there, but it was a tough that first year because all the for me, a young rookie coming in, and we had probably a third of our team was guys that played in Anaheim the year before on the NHL team. So it was a learning curve for me, and I didn't get to play a lot my first year, but it was definitely maybe learned the game, or I got a better opportunity to learn the game because learn from them guys that did play the year before in the NHL and then got sent down because of the lockout. It was it's important that you take them steps right away and learn from the guys that have been there.
But like you were playing, I think it was Ray or Jim this weekend. They were telling me that you were playing on the line with Perry and Getzlaff, and then it kind of didn't work in Anaheim, and then you ended up going to Columbus there.
Yeah, so I was my first not as soon as I signed, but the next year the rookie camp before they locked out. I was in the rookie tournament. I was on line with Getzoff and Perry. That was my line for that year. And we won the pre-evaluation tournament. And it's, you look back now and, obviously them two players, how it's amazing how you can play with two players like that and be rewarded. And I remember the first camp that I had with them, like I said, it's I think I led it between the three of us. I had the most points out of all three of us in the tournament, but I just went to the net, and them two were such unbelievable passers that I went to the net and I hit me in the ass. It hit me wherever it went in, and I ended up having more points than the two of them in that first pre-evaluation tournament. So it was and then the next year, that year was kind of tough because obviously the NHL guys were all down, and like I said, I didn't get a lot of playing time. And then the next year when it came into camp in Anaheim, they'd signed Dustin Penner, and he was a bigger body than I was, and they decided that they wanted to give him a shot with them two guys, and obviously he got the opportunity to go with, on that line with them guys, and made a great career out of it after that. And I kind of just plugged away a little bit and in the minors for that next year, and then felt like I wasn't getting a shot. And after playing 2 years in the minors, I asked for a trade, and ended up that was the year Anaheim won the cup. But I had to change. They told me that if someone got hurt, it'd be operate away kind of thing, and they're going to need some depth going down for the cup run. But I wasn't willing to wait for that opportunity and see if I actually got a shot, or if I was just going to, they're just telling you what you want to hear kind of thing. So I'd asked for a trade to start new and try somewhere else. And I think I can't look back and say that I made the wrong decision, because it's turned out well ever since then.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I'm looking here too, and you played for 4 different teams there in 06-07 between Portland, Anaheim, Syracuse, and then Columbus. So did you finish the year with Columbus, or was it Syracuse?
No, I finished I can't remember if we went to the playoffs or whatever. I was kind of bounced up and down the last part of the year. Obviously, they just wanted to get to know me, and I had a really good second half of the year in the minors in Portland too when I was down. But I think I made quite a few trips on the airplane back and forth in them days there. So I was kind of bouncing all over the place there. But then the next year, obviously coming into Columbus, they re-signed me, and obviously if they sent me down, someone was able to pick me up because I was an RFA or UFA. So I had to clear waivers in order to go down to the minors, and I ended up sticking it out at Columbus, and that's where it all started.
So did you get traded to Edmonton too? I don't know the details on that.
Yeah, I got traded at the trade deadline that next year. I got traded to Edmonton right at the deadline, and ended up coming in and playing with. It's funny because Ray Corrado and all them were down for Christmas that year, and they all make a trip down, and then I actually came back because it was a break, and there was a fundraiser chuck wagon / Bonnieville hockey game that I came back for, and they're joking around at the trade deadline because my contract was up at the end of the year, that it'd be funny if you got traded to Edmonton and at the deadline kind of thing, and came up here because Edmonton was in the dumps, and they were almost technically, like when I got traded to Edmonton, they were almost technically at the playoffs mathematically, and we went on a run at the end of the year, and it's one of the funnest runs that I've probably ever been a part of. We only lost a few games, and we ended up coming back and only missed the playoffs by I think 4 or 5 points. And it was, that's kind of the run that's, set me up for the rest of my next contract, was that, last 25 games or whatever it was that I did play in Edmonton.
Yeah, it says 26 here. Memory's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there's only about that many games left after the trade deadline. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next year you went, how did it work to get to Calgary?
So I was an unrestricted free agent at the end of that season. So Edmonton traded Nick Tarnstrom for myself as a salary dump kind of thing, because they would need to free up some cap space. And then come July 1st, that I talked to Edmonton as soon as the season was over and asked them if they were interested, or my agent had talked to them and see if they're interested in signing. So they said, yeah, we'd like to do something, but this is all the money we got right now. They had plans that Marian Hossa was a free agent that year, and there was talks that they wanted to try to get Hossa, and there was a couple other signings that they were looking to get, and there was a few guys on the team that they had to re-sign as well. So we told them to let us know if they wanted to chat more, and I never really heard anything. They kind of made us a low ball offer right off the hop, and we said we weren't playing for that. And then came to July 1st, and my agent had called Edmonton and asked them if they were wanting to make an offer kind of thing. And they ended up saying that they were waiting, like I said, they were waiting for Hossa and them to get back on free agency on July 1st. And so I ended up, Daryl Sutter had called me that morning. Free agency usually starts around 10 o'clock, and we had a call from Daryl at 10:30, my agent, and with a negotiation of a 3-year deal in Calgary. So I ended up signing my contract in later on that afternoon in the Ponoka Stampede rodeo office, because we were there for Ponoka Stampede. So yeah, and ended up signing a 3, then a 4-year deal with Calgary.
I think it must have been Ray again. He said that you signed that deal from Ponoka. Like you just said, you were in the rodeo office at the Stampede in Ponoka, hanging out with Ray, working the WPCA tour with him, and that's where you signed that 3-year contract.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about it a couple of weeks back, and he had mentioned that, because we were there, and I told him, I was like, hey, I have to go sign this contract. And I think we exercised some horses that morning and hooked a couple outfits in the morning, and he had a tough run the night before, so he wasn't real impressed, kind of thing. And I was like, you need a witness to sign your contract. And so I was bugging him, and it was just getting ready to, lunchtime kind of thing. And I said, Kate, you got to come with me to the rodeo office. Like, I have to sign this and get it back. And he was kind of like, okay, fine. That's like, he was, ended up coming with me, but it took me a while to get him to go over there, because I said, it's there waiting for me and I have to go. Only have so long to sign it. My agents called me. I have to go do it. And he was busy doing other things and doing his schedule. So yeah, it's funny kind of how it all turned out.
Probably one of the biggest contracts ever signed in that rodeo office, I would think.
Yeah, possibly.
Easily the biggest, yeah. So then playing in Calgary for 7 seasons, I guess, right?
Yeah, just under 7, obviously, the trade deadline. So yeah, 6 3/4 seasons.
Yeah. And you started the Roughstock event during that time as well.
Yeah, that's so.
I guess 2011 or 12 would have been.
2012 was the first year that was the Roughstock event. So I signed in Calgary, and I think it was 08, 09. If that sounds right.
Yeah.
Ish in there. But yeah, we started the Roughstock event in 2012. But it was just, me being around and having chats with, like I said, Jim and Kyle, and figuring out what we wanted to do for a charity event and finding the right causes that we wanted to support and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about the Flames and their involvement with the event, because they're a huge supporter of it.
They are. The Calgary Flames and the Calgary Flames Foundation have been title sponsors from day one. And, that says a lot for the organization. And I'm out of the game now, and obviously part of the alumni, but they still take care of their players, and they're a class act organization. And, we're pretty fortunate that, that's the reason why I stayed in Calgary. I thought about moving out back to Red Deer, back to Provost or stuff like that when I was done. But, the amount of stuff that we do with our Flames alumni here and this city itself, it's given a lot to me. And, I like to do a lot of charity events because, the game of hockey and the Calgary Flames have given me a great opportunity in my career and in my life, and set me up for the rest of my life, kind of thing, with the people and connections that I have made. And that's part of me hanging out here and helping out with them, whatever ways I can too as well.
And the other major title sponsor, who actually just announced they're back for the next 2 years, is ATB Financial. John Winwick, Terry Andreo, all that crew.
Yeah, it started. I think ATB's with us for 4 years now. They've been with us, and obviously, like you said, told us at the Roughstock event that they'd come on board for another 2 years. And it started with Terry himself and the egg side, and has drawn over, and now the egg side and the financial and the hockey side of ATB has all kind of joined forces together to help each other out in each division. So they're not taking obviously a lot of their budget out of one department. They kind of spread it out over the 3 departments and 4 departments or whatever they do have. And I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of things with ATB with Terry and John over the years, and they've been a great supporter since day one. I believe that they came out as a title sponsor, like I said, after my 2nd or 3rd year, but they were always involved as a sponsor of some sort since day one. So it means a lot to have great sponsors like that. And
who else do you want to mention while we're on that topic?
We're so fortunate. We've had such great sponsors. Obviously we've been giving trucks away for the last 4 years to the winners of each event.
Mostly just Schiffner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he's won 3 or 4 of them. But I don't know, the list goes on. We've had, like I said, a lot of our same people from day one. There's companies in Red Deer like Flow Pro, HPC Coatings, which is Dave Appleby. He's one of my my committee members that's been there since day one. But I just can't go and mention one name because I'll forget someone that's has been a sponsor from day one. But it's Mountain View Dodge obviously has kind of been a big sponsor of ours the last few years, but Wrangler's given us a sponsorship every year from day one, given all the contestants shirts and vests over the years and that kind of thing. So it's I've had a great relationship with them guys, but it's like I said, there's too many. There's I got to thank them all, because we can't do it without the sponsors. Our name obviously goes behind the event, but we can't do an event without great sponsors that do come out and support the event and spend the money. And sure, we go a little bit and put the work in, but it's without them, there's no event possible without them good sponsors.
Oh, absolutely. I want to go back to hockey though and talk about that little what says 18 games in the regular season and 10 games in the playoffs with Washington. I remember we talked at some point, or maybe it was Ray again too, but the travel in the out east is a lot easier than playing out west.
Yeah, it's definitely a different league out there. It seems like they say that you're in your bed 25 to 30 days a night more, your own bed when you're playing in the east and the west. It's just your travel is you can take the train you can take the train from Washington all the way into New York. That happens once in a while, or and it's just quick flights. You're an hour flight here and there. So a lot of times, some of the short games like Philly and them, Washington to Philly, or it's just a quick train ride, and it's you don't have to worry about airports. You don't have to worry about the security as much. You just jump on and go. Yeah, you're home so much more. It's unbelievable. And like I said, your flights are only an hour and 15 minutes rather than, besides Edmonton and Vancouver, playing in Calgary, which are just over an hour, under an hour to Edmonton, just over an hour to Vancouver. You're 2.5 hours to Winnipeg, and then from there, your next closest one, you'd be, places like Minneapolis and like Minnesota, and then then you're up to 3 hours. Chicago 3.5. So it's definitely quite a change and shuffle, and the travel between the east and west.
You mentioned Chicago on the weekend, and you said that was one of the only places that the atmosphere was just incredible in that barn.
Yeah, I think I'd mentioned to you that it was one of the things where, your first few NHL games, you get nervous and you kind of have goosebumps, and you get that, that jittery feeling. I was mentioning to you, the only time in my career besides the first couple games, or, first time playing at home in front of friends and family and things like that, is, when we were playing in Chicago in the playoffs. I started I believe it was game 3 that we started down in Chicago, and when you go into the Madhouse during the national anthem, everyone's on their feet and they start cheering, and I had the hair standing on my neck and like goosebumps and my just jitters, and that was probably one of the coolest feelings I've ever felt going into a hockey game, was in Chicago. So that's always been one of my most memorable moments that it's at that moment where like, wow, this is pretty cool.
I bet it's cool watching, let alone I couldn't imagine being in that position. That'd be pretty dang neat.
Yeah.
Wacey's got a question for you about another small town in Alberta.
It's probably another big moment in your career, the Hannah hockey tournament. Teddy and I play for the Big Valley team, and we've just been discussing leading into this interview, how can we recruit you to come play for us? We're needing some depth scoring, and we got a pretty lucrative contract on the table for you.
No, it's funny. I've got asked quite a few times to go play rec, and I finally, Davey Shields Jr. has been asking me ever since I retired to come out to Hannah and play in the Cowboy tournament out there. And I finally went last year for the first time and had a blast out there. But I just find it hard to play rec. It's different. The thing I miss about the game the most is the dressing room, hanging out with the guys and having that team atmosphere. And obviously with rec you get that. But if I could, I said I'd be the best rec hockey player and teammate if I could just come before the game and sit and hang out with the guys, and then sit on the bench and hang out and have a couple beer in the dressing room after, kind of thing. But if I didn't have to put my skates on and go out there and play, it'd be awesome.
Maybe coach then.
Yeah. So it's something where I probably only skate 8 to 10 times a year now, and it's mainly just charity games and that kind of thing. And I just I've been bugged to play in the oil and gas league here in Calgary and a couple of the other leagues, and it's just I'm at the stage right now, and I just my family's young, and I'm so busy during the summer doing different events like that. I just find it hard to justify to go and play once or twice a week playing rec hockey when, I got 3 young kids and will be 4 young kids at home. So it's just not the time right now. Eventually maybe, but just not right now.
Oh, fair enough.
I guess he's turning you down.
Yeah.
Wacey.
Yeah, that's let me down easy, which is nice.
Yeah, I just
Like we're on the hump of winning this tournament. Like that, because the team that you guys lost to in the final last year, like we almost beat them. Like we was almost us. We're like going to be a breakthrough team. Like we're the Golden Knights of the Hannah Hockey Tournament.
Well, we'll have to see one day. Maybe I'll make a guest appearance someday.
We probably better let you get back to work here, Curtis. We just got to finish with your definition of cowboy shit.
My definition of cowboy shit. What are you looking for? No. You know what? It's I really appreciate you guys having me on. Teddy, obviously I check out your website all the time and love what you guys do. And I've been pretty fortunate enough to meet a lot of cowboys over the years, and me being a hockey player, an outsider, and not being an active rodeo contestant, that kind of thing. Eventually it's on my bucket list. Obviously, I'm got my horses and love doing some roping and picking around and that kind of stuff, but just the timing's off for me right now. But eventually I'd like to get back in it. But it just goes to say for the cowboys in the rodeo world, how such a small world it is, and there's a lot of genuine people out there, and I've got to know a lot of people and have a lot of friends that I've met through this sport. So I just want to thank you guys for having me on and taking the time to help promote my event. And Teddy, I know you do a lot to help us out with the production side and that kind of thing. And we couldn't do it without all of our all the people I have met over the years. And that's a big part of how we're we still have all the contestants that come out. And I know it's hard for guys in their travels. They're going a long way. Like Leighton Green had to catch a flight the next morning to go out and get on the shore, go down south again. And it's some guys make the time to come up, and if they're only up here for a quick one night trip, it means a lot that them guys come up and support my event. So I just want to thank everyone for being a support of it, and well, thank you guys for having me on.
Oh yeah, thanks for supporting our side of things too, Curtis. Like we super appreciate it. Like I'm super glad to be a part of your event and glad to be there and play the music, that side of things. But like I want to say that I'm trying to find the words here, but like having your profile, like you played in the NHL for 10, 12 seasons, and we're a major player with Calgary. Like you bring another level of notoriety to our sport too, and you're bringing a bunch of new fans to our sport too, which I think is going to help rodeo get to one of the next levels too. So we appreciate what you do as well.
Well, thanks guys. We'll keep doing it as long as we can, and like I said, it's all about them connections and meeting good people and hanging with good people, and that's kind of what it's all about.
You're listening to Cowboy Shit, brought to you by Everything Cowboy.
We're back.
We're back. Thanks to Curtis Glencross.
Taking some time out of his day.
Appreciate you being on the show. That was a cool interview.
That's sweet.
Another hockey guy on the show too.
Hockey guy involved in the Western sports.
Just a cool event though. If you haven't been to the Glencross Invitational,
I didn't realize how much money that they raised. That's an unreal amount of money. That's great.
Over $1.6 million.
That's amazing.
Now.
That's so cool.
That's impressive. Very impressive. So we appreciate Curtis being involved in Western sports and in the rodeo business in Alberta. And cool to see a guy like that still involved after his hockey career too, right? Did you see that story about Joe Murphy the other day?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
You got to watch that. It's wild.
Yeah, I've heard people, I've seen people sharing it and stuff. I just haven't taken the time to watch it.
Check it out today. You can thank me later. It's
day.
wild though.
I'll watch it tonight. Yeah,
okay.
for sure, man.
When you get a chance. So what else? What do we got to do now? We don't do the Team Canada report yet. We just got to reflect a little more. It sucks that Curtis doesn't want to play for the Big Valley Cowboys. Yeah, but you never offered him anything. You just said we want you to play.
Yeah, but you can't just throw it at him and be like, hey, we got this sweet deal. And he's like, oh, what are we talking? And I'm like, unlimited pierogies.
He never asked. He just said he didn't want to do it.
He just missed out. Missed out on unlimited pierogies and winning.
What else did you have? You had a pretty good list. You didn't get into it because he just let you down pretty easy there.
I can't remember what it was, but it was a pretty sweet contract.
Unlimited pierogies, stay on the ice the whole time.
Yeah, everybody passes you the puck.
Yeah.
It's just what more do you want as a hockey player?
What about everybody that slashes so heavy at that tournament?
I think everybody's so scared of him they won't slash him.
They won't? They just know better?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be scared.
He's a big man.
I don't want to die.
He's a big man.
I don't want to die today, so I'm not going to do that.
Not today.
But how about the other guy? That other guy that played there was just kind of
Granny?
Mean. Yeah, he was kind of mean there.
They're hardcore. That team's hardcore. This is the year, though. You heard it here first. Episode 20, Cowboy Shit. the Big Valley Cowboys are beating whatever team it is from Hannah that always beats us because it's time.
Yeah, we might lose some teeth or something.
No.
Might get pretty aggressive.
They might be rattled, but we're going to win that game.
That's true. Wacey's going to stand on his head. He's going to not let
any goals in.
any goals in.
Because that's the only way we're going to win.
That's the only way. Wacey's going to not let any goals in.
We're gonna
and
get one.
We're going to get one.
That's all we need.
That's how we only need one.
We almost had it last year, but it just didn't pan out. But this is
Weren't
the
we
year.
tied after half?
We were up 1-0 after half.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. We only lost 3-1.
4 or 5-1.
No, it was
3.
No, it was 3-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was more.
No, 3-1.
Are you sure you weren't just hungover?
No, I didn't party till that night.
Oh, because
Seriously.
that was our last game on Saturday.
Yeah, it was only 3-1.
That was why it was partially bad, because everybody was on the liquor all day.
I wasn't.
Well, no, but everybody but you.
Mhm.
Like the other team was
Mhm.
heavy on the
Mhm.
on the swish.
Yeah, we've progressively gotten better against that team every year.
That's true. It's true.
And this is the year that we win.
And we're kind of like a bunch of just guys.
Just a ragtag group of guys, bunch of outcasts. We're literally the Vegas of the Hannah Cowboy tournament.
Just a bunch of guys. Like on a regular team, we wouldn't be that good, but you put us all like we get to skate a bit, and then well, hey, like we're pretty all right,
Yeah.
kind of. Mostly just
A
Wacey
good
saves
thing
like
and
50
yeah,
shots.
and we had Preston. He was pretty good for us.
Yeah, he was a big pickup. A big
Huge.
pickup at the deadline.
Yeah.
And that guy works for pierogies.
He's a huge pierogi guy.
He's from the pierogi belt of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, he really is. That's how you get the Sask boys in. You ask my brother. We get my brother.
Oh, Bandy.
He'll play for pierogies.
He will pay for
Oh,
pierogies.
that's perfect.
We just need to import the pierogies into Hannah now.
You got to get those good Saska pierogies from Baba.
Bring them in. We should bring some of that hooch too.
We can
from
get
Harley.
some of that. We'll give it to the other team. Like, hey, here's a piece. It's like the Trojan horse, like the wooden horse. It's like, hey, here's some free liquor. Next thing you know, you
dear.
can't stand up.
Next thing you know.
You're blind.
Next thing you know, you're blind. No more
Foolproof.
hockey.
We're winning for sure. Perfect.
So that's what we're looking to. Since it's winter, we're looking ahead to the
I'm
winter
actually
activities.
getting pretty excited for hockey. After that,
You are?
After that playoff series I played on the weekend, I'm pretty fired up for hockey now.
Wacey is ready.
We won in a shootout. We won the ship.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were already up a game though, or something?
No,
or
we were
what?
down. We lost
Oh.
the first game Friday. Then the
Oh.
other team forfeited on Saturday.
Why'd they forfeit? What
Didn't
happened?
have enough players apparently.
Oh,
And
really?
they thought that they could beat us for sure on Sunday,
Oh,
and they didn't.
you won in a shootout.
4-3 in a shootout.
You won the cup.
We won the cup.
So
And
did
that
you
got me
make
fired up for hockey.
Did you make some big saves in the
Yeah,
shootout?
made the game-winning save in the shootout.
Yeah. Did you guys all throw your gear off? And
I didn't,
freak
but those
out?
other guys. There's a guy who's been playing that league for like 10 years and hasn't won it. And this is his
really?
first time. Yeah,
So he was pumped.
yeah, it was pretty huge for those guys.
Did you guys have to like carry him out? Did you have to stretch him out to his car after?
No,
or-
no, that wasn't Griff. We weren't his Griff level. That's what we need for the Cowboy tournament is Griff.
We don't even know if he plays hockey, but we want to bring him.
Just for a good time. Him and Monty can come down and coach.
I do think we should bring Griff and Monty down to the Cowboy
for
tournament.
sure.
That
That'd be
could
huge.
be good.
Be a heck of a time.
Holy.
Okay, Team Canada report.
Yeah.
I got to get to work.
Okay, he does. This is our morning podcast. It's almost 10 a.m. We're getting a lot done for,
It's good.
for
Morning.
a Tuesday.
Morning pod.
Okay, the bareback riding. Or let's just kick it off right here. 7 Canadians inside the top 15
Bam.
in the PRCA World Standings this week.
That's huge.
Kind of a big deal. We're up one this week. Tanner Milan won over 10 grand. He won 5,300 in San Juan Capistrano, California, and he won another, I want to say, 6,500 in Kennewick, Washington. So big week for him. He's up to number 13 in the Bulldoggin. Number 13 spot. He's on the inside. Kyle Irwin's 16th. He's got 60,001. So it's tight there at the bottom, but he's on the right side of it. Scott Ginthner is the top-ranked Canadian in any event. He's got 85,001 on the year so far. Curtis Cassidy's number 3 in the Bulldog and $83,000 won. Oren Larson picked up a big check in San Juan, and I think he did good in Kennewick too. He's number 5 in the bareback ride, and he's only 70,000 behind number 1 Tim O'Connell. But that guy usually has about $100,000 lead going in. So, also on the inside are Zeke Thurston. He's 5th in the bronc ride, and he's got 101,001 on the year.
Nice.
Jacobs Crawley's leading that race, 134. So
It's tight.
Zeke's got a chance. He's only about a round and a half behind. Clay Elliott, number 8 in the bronc ride, 98,001 on the year.
He's in it too.
And Carmen Pozobon is number 10 in the barrel racing, the WPRA
Bam.
World Standings. She's inside by what's it say? 13,000 right now. So 16th is 15,000 behind her. So she's looking pretty good. It ain't over yet, but we're in the last month of the season.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, last month. So also close by though are a couple more bareback riders. Clint Lay is 16th, and he's outside by just under $5,000. Wyatt Denny's holding down that last spot. Clint's 16th. Ty Tipitat's 19th, but he's another 9,000 behind Clint.
He's been coming in hot.
Yeah, he had that big win in, I want to say, Colorado Springs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, looking pretty good. We got
Canada.
Pretty solid 7 in there. Could be 8, depending on Clint, maybe 9 if Ty hits a big here between Ellensburg, Puyallup,
Hannah,
Armstrong,
Brooks,
Hannah. Yeah. Hopefully we see a good list of Canadians at the finals again. We'll go over to the PBR
the
side of things.
PBA. We got Dakota. I can't believe it's not Butter still holding up the 13th spot, and then Tanner made some moves after Nashville to 20, back in the top 20.
Finish. Yeah,
he's
20th,
awesome. Good
right?
for him. Yeah, right on the nose, 20. And then we still got Lonnie West holding down at 28, and then Brock Radford still hanging on in the top 30.
What about
30?
Coverchuk?
Coverchuk's 45, so he's not far
45.
out of it. He's
And
not far out.
And he's only 50 points back of Brock for number 1 in Canada. And this weekend we're going back to we got 2 events basically. The Glen Keeley Memorial is on Saturday night, the 1st of September, and the 4th edition of the Celebration for the Two-Bit Nations on September 6th.
Couple big events.
McGrath, Alberta. So a couple more PBRs, then we'll get back to the Monster Energy Tour here, I guess, in October.
The MET.
MET, and then we'll go to the finals in November. It's going to be
The
awesome.
finals.
We get to go to Yorkton too, eh? That's going to be nice.
Yorktown. It's going to be sweet.
Oh,
sweet,
yeah.
sweet bull ride. I'm excited for you guys in that one. They'll have a sweet event there.
That'll be it for episode 20. Thanks to Curtis Glencross for being on the show. My buddy Wacey Anderson.
Basement troll.
Catch you next time.
This is Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey, brought to you by Everything Cowboy.